you, universe, for all that you do. I'm grateful for everything that you put me through. So thankful to you. I can remember a time when I was questioning my faith and divine to find meaning. Now it's clear to me in my eyes to see everything I've seen will go. I'm embracing my lessons, counting my blessings, trusting the process with ease and grace, finding the purpose, releasing the burdens. Life is unfolding with ease and grace. If I trip and fall back out of line, you guide me through those things I ask you to provide. I owe that to you, 'cause I'm not perfect, I'm still learning. Navigate your twists, I'm turning back around. Look at this love I found when I'm down and out. I remember I'm embracing the lessons, counting my blessings, trusting the process with ease and grace, finding the purpose, releasing the burdens. Life is unfolding with ease and grace. I'm embracing the lessons, counting my blessings, trusting the process with ease and grace, finding the purpose, releasing the burdens. Life is unfolding with ease and grace, with ease and grace, with ease and grace, with ease and grace, with ease and grace.
All right. Welcome to the Yalla Bitcoin Breakfast Show. We have an incredible show for you today. We have a Bitcoin edition special. So we are going to be talking about ordinals. We're going to be talking about runes. We're going to be talking about the Magic Eden airdrop, about Amazon buying BTC. There's so much to cover. But before we do, we will get our guest on the stage and keep the music coming.
One foot forward, step into the mind, say, open up a space, create and rearrange.
Hey, Rapt, what's up, my man?
Hey man, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. How are you hearing me on your end?
Oh yeah, perfectly. I wasn't just sure, like I downloaded the app now and like looked if everything is working fine, but it looks that it's working fine. So
It's
yeah.
working perfect, my man. And before you joined, we were playing some. I'll tell you the name right now. We were playing some Aya Terra from Sugar Shack Sessions. It's a live reggae performance that we play every week. So thank you
That's
for
cool.
joining us, Rap. It's do you like reggae? What kind of music are you into?
To be honest, like I'm into everything. It's depending on the mood. Like right now I'm working a lot, so I don't really like listen to a lot of music. But in general, I like everything. Like it's really depending, to be honest. What about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty versatile as well, but in for the morning show, we go with this kind of uh, instrumental reggae, I would say, on the border of reggae, alternative, and a little bit of rock. I love to see music being made from instruments, like, when there's a guitar involved or a saxophone. But I also like EDM. I'm a big listener of, big fan of Armin van Buuren from the
Oh,
Netherlands. Shout out to him. We actually want to get him out here for the $1 million Bitcoin party in Israel. So we'll
that
let you
would
know
be
how that happens.
really cool. That would be really cool. I was living in the Netherlands for 2 years, so I know some of them as well. But it's like it's really cool. Like EDM, yeah, when you're like partying, when you have a good time, it's definitely the best music. I agree on that.
Yeah, the Netherlands, Holland, one of my favorite places in Europe. But we're gonna get Matti on soon. Matti is my co-host. We will be discussing today. I want to get your, a little bit of your take about, first of all, your general thesis on runes and ordinals. Like every one of us, like, we act very left curve, but there's some sort of a conviction play here in the Bitcoin ecosystem, and I'd love to see how you explain it. Like what brings you conviction in the whole Bitcoin season 2 movement. And then we'll also obviously dive into the specifics. The Magic Eden airdrop is obviously today. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, how's that going to play out for the rest of the ordinals and runes market? Like, what do you see long term, in terms of what 2025, like, Opcats around the corner, and there's other catalysts for runes as well. So, we're going to kind of cover all of that and get some incredible sound bites to share. I'm very glad that you could join us and get this show underway. But usually now we kind of cover the markets a little bit. Mati gives a little takedown of the markets and kind of looks at the charts. But I think if we're looking at charts, then the most interesting one is total liquidations, like the amount of liquidations that happened in the last 24 hours was insane. Like I'll pull up the chart right now, but Rapt, what's your thoughts on the sort of that? I was leveraged to the tits. I'm one of those. I'm a statistic here. I've got like obviously when the markets are running like they have been the last 3 weeks, people get a little cocky and start to 10x leverage trade on Pepe or crazy volatile meme. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, are we going to see? Is this the top, or are we going to see much more extreme leverage as we go higher?
I made a post like 20 minutes ago. Like I think in the last 24 hours, over like 1.7 billion got liquidated. They were like just 10% in Bitcoin. So it hit like basically more the altcoins than Bitcoin. My general thought on that, to be honest, like I'm a long time in the crypto. I made a traineeship for trading and all of that. And like I would suggest like everybody who's like not into trading, who don't know what he's doing, that he's like not leveraging right now. Like the funny part is like while Bitcoin was rising since 50K to 100K, more people got liquidated in the longs than in the shorts. Because like they really, like you said, they over leveraged with like 10, 50, 100x and stuff like that. And I know people, they lost a lot of money. It can go well for a time, but like yesterday we saw like I think in 5 minutes some altcoins crashed over 15, 20%. And yeah, then like even a 5x is enough to get you out of the trade. So I'm like really in this market, I'm not leveraging, to be honest, because like I think we are like in runes, we're like in ordinals. This is a leverage on Bitcoin, so I don't need to like leverage altcoins. I think meme coins in the space we are in is like leveraged enough, to be honest. But I see like people asking me, where can we leverage like meme coins 100x? And I'm like, whoa guys, you're like crazy, because if you leverage meme coins 100x, That's
Yeah.
really wild.
I mean, it's only natural to go down the risk curve. I think as a lot of people didn't make Ethereum, Bitcoin early days, so they're looking for that. They're looking for that 100x. But there's different ways to go about getting it. Personally, I think there's a lot of hate for it online right now from skeptics and bears. But MicroStrategy is an exceptional case of getting leverage on Bitcoin with no liquidation risk. So if you're buying MicroStrategy shares, let's say you got a 2x, 2.5x sort of leverage on Bitcoin over the long term, and there's
You
the
said no
MicroStrategy.
liquidation risk? I don't think that's accurate.
Like you're holding spot, so your only liquidation risk is if this goes to zero. Like then
Right,
you're not.
exactly. Well, no, or the company goes bankrupt, which can happen.
Yeah. Are we all like cameras off today, Mikey? That's
Okay,
rocket.
so I apologize. Well, 3 out of 4 of my children are sick, and they all decided to wake up at the same time. So yeah, I apologize for my being late and off camera today, but we could definitely do an audio for Spotify version today, if that's okay. And I see our guest is also off cam, so now I feel a lot more comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think you can do some off-cam, guys. It's like, but we should like change our. You can change your profile pic here to your. Did you see? I put when I made the banner, Mati. I chose your frog. I selected. You're
I
actually one of
saw
the.
that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Mati,
I
you're actually one of the
identify
first.
as my frog.
Yeah, Mati is one of the first people I remember we were talking about ordinals. It was like around just before the halving, and you got that frog quite early on, So it's ordinals.
March of 23, I believe it was.
Yeah, that's like that was like the first ordinals hype for me. Like it took me I faded it the first time around, so in like March of 23. But then when it came around like November, December last year of 23, like before the big runes, release during the halving, I realized that you can't really fade this movement because it's not just about JPEGs or memes on Bitcoin. It's about building the culture that makes development on Bitcoin 1,000 times quicker, more efficient, more collaborative, and eventually more fun. Because the Bitcoin, had this kind of like mining corporate culture, like very sort of or like very cypherpunk underground, but it didn't have the the wag me meme culture of other chains, and that it's incredible to see that come. And I think MicroStrategy as well spoke about how they plan to utilize the Ordinals protocol to inscribe, I think, digital IDs. So I expect to see a lot more of that. Institutions, like if institutions are going to come into the space, they're going to come in through Bitcoin because that's where
Well,
trillions of dollars are flowing.
you're not only right, but you don't even know how right you are. And I released a tweet yesterday. I just keep remembering Alex Mashinsky. I mean, as much as he's clearly a criminal, said something that was very right, which was that in the early days of the internet, right, we would have like people celebrated when you could talk over the internet, or that you could use the internet over your phone, and then after a while, like all internet, all communication on the internet went over your phone, right? So there's basically a complete reversal of roles. And right now, Bitcoin is very much living in a US dollar world. I can easily foresee a time when a vast majority of US dollars are actually issued on Bitcoin. That is very real thing that can happen. And some of the conversations I've been having lately with some very large players in this industry are rooting for things to go that way, especially with real world assets and tokenization of everything. I mean, wouldn't you rather your dollars be printed on Bitcoin than any other network?
Yeah, I mean, you got us all riled up. You got to do the reveal. I'm picturing you now, like having one-on-ones with Larry Fink right now. Like, when are we going to do BlackRock stables on Bitcoin? But I think
I'll
before we
see
get
if Larry's available for you, sir.
before we get government money and or whatever stable, like we need stable on Bitcoin. I think 2025, one of the catalysts I'm watching out for, that if when it happens, you will see, I think, trillions, billions of hundreds of billions flowing into Bitcoin, is if we get a USDT on Runes. I think that is the next step, like USDT coming home. For those who don't remember, who aren't that old, USDT was originally on the Omni layer, a Bitcoin, a sort of side chain or whatever you want to call it, but it was originally on Bitcoin. And then when Ethereum started gaining traction, USDT sort of moved its to Ethereum, and then it discontinued Bitcoin support at some point, and now USDT is everywhere. It's on Tron and Solana and Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain and whatever, and it just makes natural sense for them to add Bitcoin support. Rapt, I don't know what do you think? Is that something you're watching for, like a stable coin pairing
I think
with Runes?
a stable coin would be like really great, to be honest, to have like even more for traders and stuff. But I don't know if like USDT is doing that, because like I think they have like a smart contract integrated, and they get like a little portion of each transaction. So they make money basically, and we don't have like smart contracts on L1 yet. So I think they cannot like do it in the way they do it. So they would not make profit, or there's no way right now to make profit on Bitcoin by issuing USDT, to be honest.
Yeah, you mean because of the volumes that they need to actually generate in order to make profit?
No, I think they have like a smart contract integrated, so they make fees out of like their transactions, and you cannot like integrate smart contracts on Bitcoin right now. So if you have like USDT on Ethereum, for example, it's like with smart contracts, and they get like a little portion of each fee. So I don't know, like I think they were like around 10 millions a day in revenue or something when I checked it
Yeah,
last time.
yeah. It's interesting. I'm not. Mati, are you clear on how USDT makes what their revenue model is? It's not they have a shit ton of
I,
money
I,
from their
I'm
reserves.
I'm apt to take Rapt's take on this. I think that it's very likely. I mean, I don't know. I haven't studied the smart contracts personally or anything, but that makes a lot of sense. But like who does things for money, man? Like what the heck?
This honestly,
Yeah,
we need something for sure. I think Bitcoin is like prime for that. I think also like what we're seeing on Bitcoin right now, what makes me like so bullish on all of that, because I'm like a long time in this space. I'm like diversified. I'm into more ecosystems. I know like a lot of ecosystems as well when they were like building up, or like when they were building up. And I think we see like the same on Bitcoin right now, but the liquidity is like way higher. So we see like different kind of like stuff. We have like ordinals for sure, but on the other side we have like runes. But runes is like for the most people just meme coins. But there's not just meme coins. There's also like a DeFi building around it. I talked to a lot of like VC guys, and like they're like all interested in Bitcoin right now. Before, for them it was like just Ethereum or some other blockchains. But right now they're like, hey, we have the option right now to put our liquidity into Bitcoin, and to like, they're not into like buying a meme coin or something. They're like seed investors. They want to get into early into ecosystems and stuff like that. So I think we see like a lot of money flowing into the Bitcoin ecosystem in 2025. A lot of developers are building like really a lot of different stuff. So I'm like super bullish. Like I think Bitcoin ecosystem is like the biggest play in this cycle for sure.
let's go. Like when I see these 20% daily price swings up and down on all the runes, like it shows how early we are in this price discovery of this whole ecosystem. Like it just, the I think you've compared it a few times, but like when you do the comparison of the Bitcoin market cap to the size of runes and ordinals and all the tokens that make up its economy, it's a fraction. and you're betting on some sort of a regression to the mean, that Bitcoin, the ratio of Bitcoin tokens to Bitcoin market cap will come somewhere closer to Ethereum's or Solana, where you have these massive means, $1 billion. Like, we haven't even seen a $1 billion Bitcoin meme yet. Like, it's dogs flirting with that. It did it before. Then it dropped down. Now it's close to the $1 billion. But on Ethereum, Solana, you have multiple $10 billion memes, and that just shows you how really early we are. And I think, as you mentioned, like, the memes are just an entry point, like, to they get it started. But around those memes, people are building lending protocols and staking protocols and swaps and all of that. The problem is that the liquidity just isn't there, and compared to Ethereum, Solana, and it's just the daily volumes on Ordinals and Runes are a fraction of what you see on Radium. So I want to kind of get your thoughts on that. Like, what do you think needs to happen in order for those daily volumes to start picking up? Those are rookie numbers.
I think, to be honest, like, we're in a point right now where we are early. Like, I see it always like that right now. Like, the runes in the Ordinals ecosystem don't have traction. Like, a lot of people are fading it. This is like the perfect moment for me to buy into stuff. And I think, like, we are so early, like you said it, like the halving is not so long ago. So like the UI UX is not there yet. So people are used to Solana. Like, they were used to Ethereum, gas fees got too high, so they switched to Solana. Everybody was able to spend like $20 again. So I think we're not there yet on Bitcoin. Like, we have like still like a big entry barrier. So we need to download a wallet. We have like 10 minutes of like block time, so we need time until the money gets into the wallet, and we have high transaction fees. And compared to Solana, we have like no liquidity pools right now, so we don't see like these 1,000x's in like 1-2 hours, because it's basically not there yet. We don't have like these people playing on the chain right now, but I think that will change. Like, we see Magic Eden is like the biggest NFT player in the game right now. They want to like, I think they want to get a little bit of position like Binance have, so they will like have tokens in the future and all of that. And I think the UI and UX, like you said, a lot of people are building on it. So I think that will change. I know a lot of people are building on L2s for LPs and stuff like that as well. And I think the average user in the meme coin NFT space is not really looking for like technology revolution or whatever. They look like basically for the 100x in a super short period of time. And if you're just into that, if you're just into gambling and into like, you want that speed and that fast gambling, I think Solana right now is the thing to be, because we're not there yet on Bitcoin. But I think 2025 is definitely the time where we will be there, because so many people building right now, and they will release a lot of stuff in the beginning of 2025. And then I think when we see these LPs and like other technology build it around lending pools and all this stuff, I think we see a lot more people playing in the Bitcoin ecosystem. We see a lot more tokens shooting up 100x, 500x, and this will bring a lot of people into the ecosystem. It sounds maybe stupid because it's so simple, but I think green candles is what attracts the most people, and we're like a little bit limited in that on the Bitcoin ecosystem right now, because we need that tools they developed on other chains already. So we can see the same stuff like pump.fund. We don't have stuff like that, so creators can easily launch a token without knowing how to develop something or stuff. So I think all that kind of stuff will be developed. We have also still fractal Bitcoin and all that stuff. This will also revive, I think. So yeah, I think 2025 will be huge. And when we see the first tokens like get these 100x's, 500x's, when Doc is like crashing this 1 billion, and I think that will be sooner than later, then I think we get a lot of like attention from other chains, and a lot of people come over because they understand, hey, this was not like just a joke. There's like really hundreds of people building in the background, and this will be like a big ecosystem. I think, I don't know, like, I think the developers increased on Bitcoin rapidly since the halving, and I think that's like a really good sign. Like, the more developers we have, even if it's a little bit quiet in the space right now, I know it won't be quiet for long because so many people are building in the background, and also a lot of people building with a lot of money in the background, because VCs are basically interested in Bitcoin right now, because we're building that DeFi ecosystem. They have the option to put their liquidity into something, and not into meme tokens or something, to into the infrastructure to build really bigger things, and they will make money out of it. They're like professional in that. They did that on Ethereum, they did that on Solana, and I think everybody is really excited to do this stuff on Bitcoin because the liquidity, like you said, is so much bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
a short-sighted person is going to think, how do I flip a house, you know, by buying it at one price and selling it for 20% higher. But, you know, the more serious people think, how do I increase the price of the neighborhood, so that all of the, you know, the price of all of the houses around is increased. And Bitcoin itself it's been said that Bitcoin is not a get-rich-quick scheme, which I think most people are looking for, is a get-rich-quick scheme, which I think is actually a way to get poor quick. Bitcoin is a get poor slow scheme, and the blockchain itself is, you know, not as scalable. It's very clear, and it is prohibitive for some NFTs and memes to build on, because the gas fees are prone to spike, and because block space is very expensive. But you have to realize that the reason that block space on Bitcoin is expensive is because it is the only thing that is truly immutable in the digital world. If you think about, okay, I want to mint something now onto an open source chain, and I want that to last for 1,000 years, and you're not going to do it on Solana, and you're not going to do it on Ethereum. You're going to do it on Bitcoin. But you're going to pay the price for that, because as soon as you mint it there, it is there forever, and nobody can ever take it off. And there is certainly a value to that.
You know, like it's that's what I always tell people. It's about the single source of truth where the initial asset is stored. So, you know, the whole blockchain is just flooded with wrap tokens and synthetic tokens. So you can get, you know, Solana token on Ethereum, and you can get Ethereum token on Solana, and it's just, you know, all these kind of synthetics. But where's the actual original authentic token stored? And that is the big question. And when it's inscribed on chain, or when it's stored in a UTXO, that's forever. Like that is forever, and no one will be able to take that away. All the like DeFi stuff, you know, as you mentioned, the 10-minute block times are not going anywhere. No matter what anyone says, that is a consensus that just won't, you know, catch hold, and that will never be changed. So you'll have a L1 that is forever unsuitable for fast DeFi. So you're going to need solutions. You're going to have to use layer 2s. You're going to have to connect it to other chains for all that functionality. But that doesn't matter, because where's the home of these tokens? That's on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, you know, as we say, is forever. I want to kind of take us back to this. This is the liquidation chart, the new hedge chart of the day, which is the liquidations, and I think this is as far back as it goes. But as you can see, it's, you know, a big outlier number over there, almost, you know, it's probably a $239 million liquidated. That was on Friday, and yesterday was, you know, a little bit less. But Friday, like, look at these liquidations. Like, these are sizable liquidations happening on the long side as we go up to 100K. So just be careful out there, as we mentioned. Magic Eden airdrop. Let me hear your take on it, Raft, because I think you know, the good times are coming back. Like, I know we had this wave of airdrops around, you know, for the Bitcoin ecosystem around the halving. We had, you know, decentralized and Runecoin and dog airdrop, and that was, you know, Ordinals fans got paid, you know, and that kind of went to sleep for 6 months while Bitcoin was ranging. And now are we back? You know, is airdrop farming a thing again? Because you know what, I think it wasn't just the Bitcoin ecosystem that kind of tallied off. You know, in the wider crypto ecosystem, you had a bunch of airdrops for layer twos, like they were, you know, less than savory. I know Blast people were super disappointed with that one, and now us, you know, Hyperliquid airdrop just blew everyone out of the water, you know, a week ago, and now we have Magic Eden. Pizza Ninjas are airdropping pizza pets, you know, now, and there's, I think, this kind of movement back towards giving us free money. So are we back? What your thoughts on that?
Like for me, like the first thing is like for me, this is not basically like free money, you know, like it's an airdrop, but like Magic Eden is like super smart. Like what they're doing is like marketing on the highest level. They like really crushing it. Like what I think like to compare like the Magic Eden airdrop with like all the other airdrops is a little bit different because like what they have is like a running company. It's like working. They have a business. They make money, and we can see how much money they already make. So I think for us, it's for sure like we see it as free money, but basically we are also like the marketing hand of like Magic Eden. We also like spended a lot of money on the Magic Eden platform to be able to get these diamonds and to be able to get the tokens right now. But what I see different, like I said, like Magic Eden is a running business. It's like Magic Eden is like the biggest NFT ordinal like runes platform in the whole ecosystem. They're like crushing it for the last year. So what I see is like there's a lot of like tokens not on the TGE offered, like it's around 20%, I think. Right now the price is at like $6.40. I see it going higher, to be honest, because it is something they want to be like the Binance, like the decentralized Binance, I think later. They want to integrate tokens and all of that. So I can see the market cap way higher than it is right now with 20% of the tokens at 6.4 dollars. Is like 6.4 billion and like fully diluted, but it's like just 20% out there. So I can see the price going way higher with all the other airdrops, like Pizza Ninjas, for example, is also a crazy airdrop. I think they revive the ecosystem, they bring it back the fun. I think this is also something like extraordinary. Like it's cool that we can see all of this coming together right now. And I think it will revive the runes and ordinals market a little bit. But I think like we need to like diversify between like really good airdrops and like bullshit airdrops, because I can imagine like airdrop season is starting and everybody's farming again. Like you spend a lot of time on bullshit, but if you choose the right ones, I think it's like really nice. So even like with Blast, for example, Blast had like this Blast Gold and everybody was excited, and but Blast was not really having something. They had like 20, 30 apps and everybody was just playing these apps to get like the Blast Gold, to get like the Blast airdrop. But Magic Eden had like this running business. They have like the customers, they have everybody on there. And yeah, I think it's not like free money, it's like earned money because we're the customers. Like we make marketing for them. I think the most seen post I had on my timeline was the Magic Eden allocation from people. So this is also marketing, but I think like really Magic Eden is killing it. And if they like continue with what they're doing and if they like outworking everybody else, I think they could become like really, really big. On the other side, like I think where money is, there's competition. So I think there will be like more players entering the market because there is a lot of money being made, and we can see it even in markets where we are right now, like Ordinals and Runes were not so big as they will become. Like they made millions over millions each month. So there's a lot of money in. I hope we see more competition. So this would be better for like the customers, for us, for like the users, because the more competition there is, like I think the more they need to do something for us to bring us on. Like we can see it already, like with Trio, for example, they're building their marketplace. Other people are building their marketplace as well. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this is going. Like I'm bullish on
Stabano with
Magic
the
Eden.
questions.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
Stabano has the best questions.
is Magic
Is
Eden
Magic
regulated?
Eden regulated? Who gives a fuck?
Okay,
Like, well, yeah.
it is certainly regulated by Magic Eden. They regulate themselves.
No, but like, what law is it regulated under? They sell NFTs and runes. Like, you know, they're like a DEX in a way. They're not a, that they're not a money transmitter. So like,
But
it's all
as
bullshit.
soon as national regulators are able to regulate these products, I'm sure they'll be happy to come into compliance.
Yeah, I don't know how sure I don't know how sure I am, but like, I mean, I know Magic Eden. Like now we're in the Yellow group chat is blowing up. Like Americans trying to get their claim Magic Eden. Like, they're stopping. They geo block Americans. Everyone is. I think we're going to be surprised by how quickly that turns positive. Like every airdrop almost, and every you know a lot of DeFi protocols and a lot of crypto apps, they just automatically geofence the US. That's the first thing you do. But after you get a domain, automatically block US IP. Like done. And I think that's going to change under Donald J. Trump. What do you guys say?
That's a good question, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see where this is going, like with Donald Trump. Like we saw in the past, like there was also like a lot of talks, and then the reality was different. So I'm excited to see that. I hope we like really heading into this like bullish sentiment where Trump goes into office, and we can see these changes and clarity. I'm not sure because like the thing is like we like the space how it is right now. Like everybody is like in the same time it's like a little bit of chaos and there's a lot of scams and there's a lot of like wild west, but in the same time we really like it. Like we really like the chaos. We really like to like being able to gamble on shit and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to see where this is going because I think with clarity in these fields we get also regulation, and with regulation I think it could be become something different because I think a lot of this stuff will be forbidden maybe. So I'm excited to see where this is going because I think everybody wants changes in some way, but in the same way everybody wants to be in the same space because this decentralized way, like everybody can do what they want and everybody needs to take care of themselves, is in some way really cool. For others, for normies, for new players, maybe not so cool because they get scammed super easy. But I think to find a solution where we can keep the space where it is and the same time regulate it to make it safer for normies, this is where it comes the competition, in my opinion. What do you guys think about that? Like,
Yeah, great comment from Hernan. Crypto is about to open its doors to America. But I've always said that, you know, regulation is something that starts local and then goes global. So you always have markets that are local, and then you have regulators that come in and regulate them, and then those regulators gain more power and they increase their jurisdiction. With crypto, for the first time, you have assets that are natively global. So that the asset itself doesn't start out local; it starts out natively global. And regulators still, to this day, do not know how to handle that, and that is absolutely by design. And it speaks directly to the genius of Satoshi Nakamoto and the work of those that he built upon. That this is something that the governments cannot, even if they really want to, they cannot shut it down, and they cannot have a firm grasp over it. And this is really a matter of the people, taking back control over our finances, taking back control over, actually taking control over the financial sector. Which is something that's never a type of revolution that's never been done in history before without firing a single bullet. We can, knock down the fat cigar smoking bastards who've run the world until today, and actually give it back to the people. And yes, that means that you're going to have stuff like Haktua, and yes, that means people are going to have to educate themselves. And yes, wherever she resides, the local authorities should be knocking on her door with handcuffs, because yeah, she's stolen money from a lot of people. But are we going to go say that every meme token now needs permission to launch from the government? That's insane. It doesn't, like, can you imagine that happening? It would not. It won't happen, and never
no,
can, because
no,
people now have the code.
I like what you said. The one thing for me is like this responsibility for something. Like you said, like they should knock on their door and they like should like take responsibility for what they did. And I think this is, but like in the same time, this should happen because like we see the wild west, but in the same time, this is not happening. Like I don't know, like you can go to the police station and tell them like I got like hacked by someone or someone stole my money because he told me he will launch that and he didn't. And I'm pretty sure nobody will knock on his door. Maybe if he stole like high millions and he's from the US, but if he's from Africa, if he's from India, if he's from like any country like around the world, there's a lot of countries they don't care about that. And I think this is like a little bit the problem we have. Like what you said is like completely right, and I agree. It's like super hard to get like regulation globally. But on the other side, like how you want to like deal with that, because we can see like a lot of influencers like hiding in Dubai because like they did like really shit. They made a lot of money with that, but yeah, like Dubai is not like doing anything to them. So they hide there and they can do their shit like even officially from Dubai out. So what do you
Well, it
think
only
about
takes
that?
one case for, one high profile case to change that. It really only takes one case where somebody who scammed a lot of people got on the wrong side of the law and it was clear that it's a scam and they're hiding in Dubai and the whole world is screaming for their blood. You watch how fast the UAE flips their narrative because they don't want to be seen as, this seedy, illicit place. Even though they are in many ways, they don't want to be seen as that. And if the whole world is screaming at them, I think they're gonna reverse course. So it really only takes one case for that to happen, and it'll happen eventually.
Yeah, but this is
I
just Dubai then, but you have like more countries that are like not caring about that. Like how do you see the future for that coming? Like
I
What's up,
think I
Mr. Pizza Ninja there?
or he's a good piece of ninja. I know, Luma. Uh, First of all, let's talk about Micah quickly and the Europe. Sorry to any Europeans, but there's a Europe, like the European political system like wants to keep you poor. That's they wanted to ban, like, as soon as that French guy won on Polymarket, like he won like a couple $1 million for betting on Trump. And the next day, the European regulators were like, "How do we ban this? How do we outlaw this?" So I don't know so much about Europe, but to your point, wrapped about the Dubai, like being I remember South Africa's like that as well. It's where I grew up. It's like a safe haven for all different type of shady motherfuckers. So they all kind of run to Africa like a Dubai now. I think the shady people in Web3. There's a lot of it's very you know it's very very hard to keep your integrity and reputation in the space. Like there's a lot of people that have on various levels on the spectrum scammed, and whether it's like buying a micro cap and then chilling about it to hundreds of thousands of followers and then dumping on them on live stream, like that kind of shit happens. And it shouldn't happen. There should be laws about it, but I don't want the government, I don't want to bring big brother out to kind of solve our problems. We should have within our own industry, there should be sort of standards and guidelines that when Mati, sorry, I muted you. There's some background noise, but if you want to jump in, just unmute yourself. So we should have our own internal guidelines. And I remember the Winklevi tried to do this, some sort of internal self-regulation. Like say, we should have standards in this industry, just like every
We
other
do
industry
have
has standards.
standards. You see somebody like Haley Welch standing up and producing a meme coin based on her fucking. You're gonna stand up and say something, man. There's standards there.
That's a very low standard. That's like saying we have standards. We don't allow murder in our society. That's a very low standard. But
No, but
if I
I mean, it's just eventually people are gonna have to learn to not get scammed. You're gonna have to learn to guard their money. It's a sucky process, but the world needs to go through education, and the government is not possibly able to stop people from getting scammed. It never has been able to. Even before the internet, people still got scammed. So, what are you going to do? Like the government, you can't run everything through a government that's not efficient, and the economy will never go anywhere. And you have now suddenly a world where um, anybody can create a scam with relatively little effort. And what that means is that people are just going to need to get educated much faster on what to look for. Those people who invested in Haley Welch, well, they learned their lesson. They're not going to. That's never going to happen to them again. And they're going to tell everybody that they know about what happened to them, and that's they're not going to get scammed the next time either. I believe that celebrity coins, no matter how big the celebrity, are not going to do all that extremely well going forward. If Kim Kardashian, comes out and tomorrow and launches a coin, I mean, she's going to make a few $1,000,000. But I don't think that people are going to come into it with an expectation that they're going to get rich off of Kim Kardashian. But they need to understand that it goes the other way around. The only way for this to happen is that we need to go through a generation of flushing this out. Your kids will definitely understand what to look for when they're looking at making an investment or a transaction online. My kids certainly will.
I think it's a shame that celebrities just look at crypto as a quick pump and dump, because there's a lot of potential for type of creator token, whether it's like revenue sharing on their next contract, or whether it's just like a meme that gives you some, real utility to get close to your favorite celeb, or there's different ways to make it kind of real. But or you can just bull post it once in a while, like Andrew Tate does. But most 99% of them is just a complete, just like 1 week pump and dump, which is a travesty. That's why I always good to bring it back to Bitcoin, because I think a lot of people in the space, and celebrity memes are just one angle. There's 101 different uh, niches and sub niches. Some of them, real innovation, and some of them utter bullshit. And if you get a newbie coming into the space and they don't come in through the right channels, and they get involved, with memes too quickly, or with altcoins or staking too quickly, they essentially, I've met people that or have hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in crypto, and they don't have a single Satoshi, a single Bitcoin. No, I don't have any. What the hell are you doing? Like, that's, you're gonna get wrecked. A liquidation event can come and just send you to zero. Like, Bitcoin is in a class of its own as a store of value. It's a way not to lose your money. It's being called digital gold. Like, Amazon, Microsoft, all kind of thinking about buying it for their treasuries. So, how do you guys see that playing out? Next year, bringing it back to Bitcoin, and we've got, I think, these dual narratives of nation state and companies. And obviously, the nation state is, from a geopolitical standpoint, very interesting. But I think the companies angle is no less interesting, because it's going to be, Saylor has the model that he uses for MicroStrategy, which is super aggressive: lend money, sell stock, use that proceed, borrow money, sell stock, use that proceeds to buy Bitcoin. But we can see Microsoft, Amazon maybe being a little bit more conservative and just buying Bitcoin for the treasury. And that, we've got these dual trends coming for Bitcoin. So I think it's early enough, it's late enough in the year to start asking for some 2025 predictions. So give me yours.
That's a good question again. Like for me, it's like there's a lot of like dynamics going into that. Like I agree with you. Like Bitcoin is different because Bitcoin is like basically, in my opinion, against all other coins. Like you can, like everybody's saying, like you have Bitcoins and altcoins. So I think like for newbies, Bitcoin should be the play because it's the safest. They will learn like the technology, they will learn like the history of crypto, so they will understand much more. I'm like surprised like how many people joining Bitcoin from other chains and they don't know anything about Bitcoin. They don't know anything about blockchain. They just like downloaded Phantom and just gambled on meme coins. So I agree with you, like everything what you said, like with Bitcoin. On the same time, I think like we need altcoins because Bitcoin is not made for everything. Like like what you guys said earlier, like everything is on chain forever, and I think this is a point. We don't need everything on chain forever. I think there's also like a lot of utility and use cases of products or stuff, which is like basically not good if it's like forever on chain. If it's good if you can like delete it. So I think we need altcoins. But I agree with you. Like, I think Bitcoin, it's the Bitcoin cycle right now. We're getting on these government levels. Like, we have ETFs, like pension funds, institutions, like everybody is like going into Bitcoin. I think 100K is like a mark when we crash that and like hold above it. And we confirm it. I think this will like start something else. I think I can definitely see Bitcoin going up to like 2, 3, 4, 500K even next year, because we have different players entering the market. I'm not surprised that we're like, yeah, like the price is under 100K right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we dip before Christmas a little bit, so people like see Bitcoin not at an all-time high around Christmas. They can talk to their family and stuff. And I think next year it can go really, really wild, because like I think nobody wants to buy at an all-time high. So I hope we see a little pullback. That would be much healthier for the market as well. But in the same time, I think when we see the pullback, we see a lot of money flowing into Bitcoin. And yeah, I think that will be like a huge game changer. I think the difference this cycle to the last cycles is we had like not so many tokens for sure. So the altcoin market, like on CoinMarketCap, we have like over 2.5 million tokens, which is like really a lot. When I started crypto, we had around 100 tokens. So that's like one thing. I think we're like way more diluted into way more altcoins and assets. So this is like definitely good for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is standing on its own against all of that. On the other side, I think like we see a lot of money inflow coming through the ETFs, which was not the same in the other cycle. So normally, like we had Bitcoin pumping, maybe Ethereum pumping, and then all the other altcoins were pumping because money were flowing from Bitcoin into altcoins or from Ethereum into altcoins. But I don't see that this cycle that much, because like the people who buy through ETFs and build the money inflow through ETFs, they won't like sell their ETFs, buy Bitcoins, and then put it into altcoins. Maybe some of them will, but the majority won't do that. So I think that's like also a good point for Bitcoin against altcoins this cycle. And I think we will see like more and more over the next years, where like companies and funds and stuff like that will have a portion of Bitcoin into their fund. like like basically everybody is like holding 1% or stuff in risky investments, and Bitcoin is part of that. So I see like a huge money inflow coming for 2025 for Bitcoin.
Thanks, Mati. What about yourself? What's your prediction? We have, I think while you're talking, I was thinking about like the last cycle. We kind of jumped to 3x from the 3.5x from the previous all-time high. So if the 2017 all-time high was 20, we jumped to 69. So that was kind of a 3.5x jump. For us to jump another 3.5x, that will put us at 250 for this cycle top, but I think we go much higher. I think, we're already at 110, and we haven't even seen one Donald Trump buy order on the order book. So once that starts happening, I think, my end of year prediction are, in the also the 270, 300 region for Bitcoin. I think we can get there this year, and then wick up a little bit higher in 2026, and then the 4-year cycle theory suggests that there's something waiting for us, some scheming, conniving guy with a massive Ponzi to crush the whole market and send us back to a 2-year bear market. So I think at the end going up only in 2025 around 300K target for the end of the year. And then next year, 2026 will be even crazier. But 2025, that is the main year of the bull. This is the parallel of 2021, 2017. And those years were just absolutely bananas. 2017 and ICOs were going crazy, and Ethereum valuation and Ripple was pumping. And 2021, obviously, with the ETH NFTs and DeFi protocol off from DeFi summer, and 2025, what's going to be, the sectors that, will kind of benefit and piggyback off from Bitcoin, Mati?
I love how you're like, hey, Mati, what's your opinion? Let me give it to you. Yeah.
No, that was my opinion. Now I'm asking for
Oh,
yours.
okay. Sorry.
My
I thought you did
prediction.
my work for me. I was done. I was like, okay, mic drop. Good job.
No, that's my opinion. Now we're taking it over to you. Price, speed, and like what do you think is going to benefit from Bitcoin's having a successful year?
I think the whole world is going to benefit from Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is going to benefit from the economy that is going to grow as a result. So it's a hand washes hand scenario, and everybody gets clean, and everybody gets more wealthy because AI. I was reflecting on this at the party we had the other day with somebody it was a tall, slim guy, like kind of young. He said he worked on Bitcoin Core. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about.
No, Bitcoin. We
But
had
really,
Bitcoin core developers at the party. That's crazy.
yeah. And he just told me, look, as a programmer, AI is 10x my productivity. I said, hey, as a writer and a builder, it's 10x my productivity too. They said, well, there's probably another, 50 people at this bar, right? Or at least 15, 20 people at this bar right now who's had their productivity 10x. Multiply that by the entire city or the entire world. Productivity is 10x in the last 2 years. And that has not been priced in yet. It's not nearly been priced in yet. Not into financial assets, not into crypto, not into asset prices, not into anything. And if our goal, as we discussed, I believe it was last week or the week before, is to get to the utopia where nobody has to work because the robots are doing everything that we need, and we can get to the point where those simulators or Star Trek machines just kind of like give us whatever we need whenever we need it. Then what do we need money for to begin with? So if that's the case, then I think that the world was headed in the dark path. As far as like the Biden administration and the deep state and everything like that. If you watched, Mark Andreessen's recent interview with Joe Rogan, I mean, we knew all that kind of stuff was going on, but the way he just flat out said it was like, people getting debanked for saying the wrong things without any sort of recourse or due process and freedom of speech. But Elon Musk bought Twitter, and Donald Trump didn't get assassinated. The timeline is clean. We're in a clean timeline. We can, we can now deploy that dream of the robots doing everything, and we get to sit back and enjoy from that. And everybody gets wealthy. Everybody, without exception, except for the dumb people who think that they need to take every $100 that they earn and gamble it on meme coins. Because I'm sorry, you're just not smart.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that party when you like we had that was the crazy one. We were talking to Gainsey and you didn't even realize it was him until afterwards.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, no,
I,
he's a cool guy. I was like, yeah, I wish I would have gotten his Twitter just as we were walking away. I was like, oh yeah, that was Gainsey. Oh, I did get his Twitter. Okay, good.
no, but it was I hear what you mean. I hear what you mean about the robot utopia and bringing that in, and I think that's kind of how we will end today. We got to an hour. Thank you so much for everyone who
So we
listened
made
in
it.
and who asked to. We made it. It's our first mask off show, mask on, no camera. Let us know what you think. It's just a bit weird when you see the boxes, but maybe next time we can do it on a Twitter space and record it somehow. I don't know. We will let you know about that. But any closing thoughts? Anything you're watching now? Before we get into the holidays in the space, like I know we spoke about AI agents last week. I know we spoke about a whole bunch of different sectors. But what are you kind of have your eye on as we conclude 2024?
Yeah, just well, a few things. I have an announcement coming up for quantum economics this Thursday. Yesterday, Quantum Expeditions, we hit our $500,000 milestone on the WeFunder. So that was quite magical. It happened while we were on a Twitter space, which yeah, that's a lot of fun. And then for everybody who's listening, definitely go whitelist yourself for the Quora pre-sale. Whitelisted people will also get access to try out V1 of the app in beta testing. I believe we're gonna do something truly magical here, and the ideas are already flowing, and a lot of the groundwork has already been laid down. So you're really getting in on the ground floor as far as getting into the pre-sale is concerned.
Wrapped, anything from you, sir? You gotta. I'm putting up the link here, but Matti, we'll talk about after about the core pre-sale. I think I personally, to have a product first. I think it's not you giving it to pre-sale, but I don't know. I think it's the product, the token first model isn't very relevant to today. What do you think?
What do you mean by that?
Like launching a token before launching a product.
Yes. I remember teaching students about that in 2017. Like the ICO is like, hey, we're going to build a casino and it's going to be awesome. And, we're going to have bells and whistles and the greatest graphics. And we're about to build it. And we have a great team. Anybody want to buy some casino chips? It's like, nope. But
Yeah.
people did. But no, a lot of thought and work has gone into building Quora. As you know, I mean, we took over the Revolt Foundation 2 years ago. We've been basically on this path ever since then, and just recently rebranding it into Quora and what it is today, trying to understand what is the need in the market. How can we use the latest and greatest technology to ensure that investors are indeed successful in this market rather than throwing their money to the wind? And the answer, of course, was utilizing both AI and blockchain together as one. And our development team is really incredible. Our lead developer, Kyle Lloyd, he's built more than 300 programs, one of which won an Emmy award. The kind of dude who says, "Yeah, that's already done," or like gets things done like ahead of schedule or under budget. And it's been a pleasure working with both him and Maddie over the last couple of years, and Hernan, who we've just added to the team as our lead marketer, is coming in with a lot of great ideas. So I'm looking forward to everything that we're about to accomplish. In the continuation of what we've done. This isn't the start, and it's not the end. But it is the perfect time within the cycle to be doing this, and to see the continuation of this, because I really want to see that dream where you can FaceTime an AI and it's a perfect expert on how to help you make money. This can happen, and we're gonna make it happen.
That's a great dream, my friend. Wrapped closing thoughts. Nan likes the dream as well. I don't know what he shared, but he shared something. I want an AI that can make me money through FaceTime. I mean, and then you hook it up to a Neuralink, and then you don't need a FaceTime. You just like sit for a second and think about memes, and bam, you're 100% in the green.
Yeah, but I agree with Maddie here, because like I think we're like closer than we think. Like we have like blockchain, and blockchain is basically like, can you hear me? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, loud and
Blockchain is
clear.
Blockchain is basically like tokenizing all the assets, and then we have like AI, which is like able then to use it and like to proceed it. And then what you said as well with robotics, like they can then do the work. And I think we will like see a lot of like development and even more speed and all of that, because like when we have the robotics and Tesla like showed us that they are able to do this stuff already, when we have like the AI and it's there and it's developing, and when we have like all the assets tokenized and in data form, then I think development will be like super fast and even more huge, because we don't need humans anymore to even like progress in development, because robotics can like report back to AI and AI can think further and stuff like that. So I agree with that. Like AI changed my life as well. Like I'm super productive, and yeah, and like
What
my
AI
closing
do you
thought.
got? What AI do you guys use? Let's end off with something proper. Let's end off with something useful.
Like I use like ChatGPT, like I use Grok, like I use different stuff. Like I, for example, I never coded before. Like I never learned coding. I have like a little bit of basic knowledge, but I'm able to code right now. Like I really like learn a lot about coding right now. I was able to code different stuff, like even with bots and nodes and stuff like that. And I'm super surprised that we are like that far already. So like everybody who's like in the audience and not testing out AI, like do it, because it will change your life as well. Like whatever you do, it will help you by doing that. And yeah, it will just develop from here on. So I'm super bullish on all of that, like blockchain, AI, and robotics, to be
Absolutely.
honest.
Absolutely. Good. So then please whitelist your wallet, sir, on Cora.finance. Head to the pre-sale page and whitelist your wallet. Be very happy if you'd be kind enough to beta test our app on V1, and look forward to the release of V2, of course. But yeah, ChatGPT, Grok, and I got Gemini on my phone. So yeah, I use Google Docs a lot, so I use the Gemini. But it's on my phone now, so it's like super simple. I just hold the power button and the AI comes on. How can I help you? And I even have like a feature where you hold the toolbar and you can take a screenshot or circle something on your screen, and the AI will give you suggestions for that. So this is a brave new world. Some of these tools are literally making the world go faster than ever, and technology is going to progress even faster from there on an accelerated plane.
Amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. To all of our listeners, we had a impeccable chat. Rap, thank you for having you, sir. And I look forward to chatting on other forums and other places. Enjoy your ME airdrop, everybody. Happy Free Money Day. Remember, like, you know, free money is free money. If you didn't get this airdrop, you'll get the next one. Like, we're in a industry where people get, that, and they'll get. And I know you said it's not free money, but people will get an airdrop, and they'll be, sour and salty for not getting as much as the next guy. Like, readjust your priors. Some people go to work for a month, they sit and they grind, and they on spreadsheets and PowerPoints, and they make what you made for just, clicking some buttons and buying some pictures. So, let's be grateful and enjoy our airdrops. Everybody have a wonderful day.
Thanks for having me. Have a wonderful day, man, and enjoy your
God
airdrop.
bless.